Hey everyone, I am with my longtime friend Anja Crotts. Anja, how long have I known you? Since 2005?
2005. A while. 11 years now.
Yeah, because I started Sports Business Simulations in 2003.
Okay.
And you and your friend Erin brought you, I think.
Yep, she did.
And that was a year later.
Yep.
Right, that's right. And you all over my apartment talking about my business strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. It's been a long time. So now Anja has stretched out into sports broadcasting, and she has AJ Sports. She is also a vlog producer, a vlogger at Zenny62.com, or as I call it, my company, Zenny62 Media, based in Georgia, although she's not in Georgia. But at any rate, Anja has covered for Zenny62 Media her first NFL Combine.
That's right.
Which makes you ahead of me because I was covering the Oscars. So thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
But it helps us because this will be the 11th year of Zenny62 Media coverage at the NFL Draft. And so, in preparation for the draft, I want to get Anja's personal view of the players of the Combine, the best and the worst, and also the experience. So let's talk about that. What was the experience like for you, the NFL Combine?
It's very busy. There's lots going on. All the lobbies of the hotels are filled with agents, coaches walking through, different player personnel. No players per se. They're held up at their own kind of hotels and focused on preparing for the 3 days that they're doing any of the testing and training that they're doing there. But a lot of people walking around. It's hard to not be starstruck. You know, when you have guys like John Elway walking down or Pete Carroll, walking past, you just are riding up in the elevator together. So it's really an interesting experience because there's no other time, especially with press credentials, you can be in such a close proximity to these legends of the game. I mean, Hall of Famers. So it's really it's a busy few days, but it's very rewarding, and you get to meet a lot of people, and again, you get to be right next to a bunch of people that are in the NFL.
Now, of course, the focus was those players selected to be at the Combine and to go into the 2016 NFL Draft, which will be in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
Which player stuck out to you the most, or if you like players plural?
Oh man,
regardless of
there were
position,
quite a few.
Although I have my favorite.
Yeah, there were a few. I was very impressed by the caliber of preparation that these players underwent. I know that there's a lot of trainers and also not necessarily coaches because they're not involved at this point, but definitely the trainers, athletic and perhaps more PR related, as well as their agents that are preparing them for speaking in front of coaches when they do their one-on-ones, as well as speaking on the podium or at roundtables with the press. So during the draft, there's all this time to sit down and listen to all these different players. I uploaded over 40 videos. Somewhere I'm asking questions, somewhere I'm just listening and recording these players speak, being asked different questions and just speaking on their experience. So I have to say it was really interesting listening to these players talk because so many of them were very, very well versed, very professional, definitely much older than their years as they came across. A few were a bit surprising. They were actually kind of the other extreme, but there were definitely a number that were very professional and very much grown up, and I think portraying themselves ready for the NFL, which I thought was really positive. Miles Jack continues to be a favorite of mine. He's from my hometown, or close to my hometown up in Washington State. So I went to Bellevue High School, and now he's at UCLA, declaring for the draft this year. He's expected to go first round, but he was very positive in his interview. Of course, mentioned his mother, who he's very close with, and how she takes care of him and cooks for him when she comes down, and they maintain a really good relationship. So I'm sure teams love hearing that. Love having a family boy there. There were a few others that I thought were really interesting. Chris Jones of Mississippi State, he was really just friendly and just very personable and very charming on the podium. I thought he was really fun up there. and definitely very interactive with the different press and the different questions. There were a few others. Let's see, I have my list here. Noah Spence was very good. He actually, I thought, handled his questions pretty well as he could, with some of the drug arrests that he underwent.
Yeah, tell us about that, could you please?
Yeah, he on 2 different occasions he had failed drug tests, and he was caught with it on hand, from what I've understood. Anyway, you know, you only know what you read and what's online, so who knows the exact story. But I thought it was really interesting how he made it a very strong point to overcome that lifestyle that he had, and now he's professional. He's training hard. Talked about how he has a girlfriend now, and how he's very committed to being a better teammate and preparing himself for the NFL. So he had his party phase, and now he's over it. And he went to, made it a point to talk about it.
He went to Georgia?
Where did he go? Noah Spence, Eastern Kentucky.
Eastern Kentucky, okay, because there was another fellow that who went off on a marijuana-fueled kind of flight of fancy.
Is it Robert Condice?
Yes.
Yep. He that was my my not quite as positive take on him. He actually, when he was up on the podium, because he's expected to be a top tier player,
right?
And he had a couple bouts with the law and with his team. Wasn't able to play in the championship game, so that was a major issue with him and his
Georgia,
team.
Right?
Of course, it's probably going to affect him in the draft.
He went not Georgia, he went to
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State, right?
Yeah.
Bottom line is he's an he was to play in the SEC championship.
That's right.
And I say that because what happened to him happened in Georgia.
Mm.
And then what happened was that he went on a marijuana-fueled flight of fancy, where he had, I think, fallen or leaped from an apartment building and ran from the cops, something like that. It was a very bizarre story.
Well, and on top of that, I believe he pushed somebody off of a balcony.
That was it. I apologize. That was the story. Yeah. Someone watching me is probably screaming, "No, Ziddy was the." That was the story. That was the story. Right. I'm sure they asked him about that, right?
I'm sorry?
I'm sure they asked him about that, yes?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was the main topic. And I found that in the draft in the press room, in the combine in the press room, many of the questions that were being asked to all the different players, not just Condice, but many of the other players, were more, justifying things they've said or done, not highlighting the positive, which I tend to like to do. But Robert Condice, rather than taking, say, the stance that Noah Spence did and saying, "Oh, I screwed up and I've overcome it, and here's all the steps I'm taking to better myself and to make myself a more valuable acquisition in the draft," he actually ended up more or less blaming the press for the negativity he's felt in the last year. So that was the general sense that people got from it. Not necessarily me. I got that idea, but I wasn't going to make that assumption. But there were a number of press members talking afterwards about how it was very interesting that he took that stance rather than the many others he could have. So, yeah, he's a very good player. I hope that he's on path to being a better person as well. So
Did he help himself?
I'm sure he will. I was able to see the quarterbacks work out on Saturday.
Okay, we can talk about that later. Okay.
Really interesting. There's so much talk about who's going to go first. Is it going to be? Is it going to be Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Paxton Lynch? Who's going to go? And then you have Connor Cook thrown in the middle of it. I was getting ready. I was prepared, I guess, to see one of the quarterbacks maybe falter a little bit. They were all so darn sharp. My gosh, Jared Goff.
Every single one of them, Dax Prescott, every single one?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, fantastic. So all these guys out there, they were just sharp as a tack. I continue to be really impressed by Jared Goff. I do think he needs to put on a little bit of meat on his bones, but he's such a good player. Go Cal. But he's really good. All of them were really just top tier quarterbacks. So it was really fun to watch that work out. I was really impressed by that.
Since we were talking about quarterbacks, we kind of shifted there. I have an issue with how some in the media have elevated Carson Wentz. And I have an issue with that because I don't believe that you take a player who's performed at a division below, and then assume the person's going to do well, even though that person's exposure to higher talent has been minimal at best. I mean, he played against Iowa State in 2014. They upset Iowa State, but even then his statistics weren't stellar. Like, for example, Paxton Lynch last year with Memphis, who is an FBS school, okay, they upset Mississippi State. And he threw for 384 yards and 3 touchdowns. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, I got that down, right? That's etched in my head. Because that's how I heard about him. But that was against FBS talent, you know? So why is it that Carson Wentz, or are you drinking the Kool-Aid? I'm not. Why is he that good? I'm not. I just don't see it.
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, and I've seen so many different side-by-side analysis of him and Jared Goff. That's the big matchup, from what people are saying anyway, in terms of quarterbacks. Who's going to go first? And some put Carson, you know, one step above Jared Goff, and some put Goff one step ahead of Wentz. You never know. If you look at their stats, they're very much similar. However, the big talk at the Combine, which honestly to me got a little bit obnoxious, is hand size.
Oh, God. I saw that.
So they're saying Goff will go lower in the draft because he has a small hand. And I get the analysis of this because if there's bad weather, he can't grip the football as much, etc. But he's played in bad weather. I mean, I get that he's not, you know, in the worst weather ever in Berkeley, of all places. But I mean, the guy's played in bad weather. He's proven himself time and time again at the NCAA level. Saying that he's going to go at lesser than Wentz because he has an inch and a half smaller hand is beyond me.
That's crazy. I mean, yeah. For me, Jared has thrown more passes than anybody else. He's had more turns at bat. He plays in an offense that gives him more turns at bat because they don't huddle. It's just crazy to me that people just find things.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's... Anyway.
Another good performance was actually Sean Oakman out of Baylor. He had a 10'3"
And now we're shifting to, we're not talking about quarterbacks anymore, we're talking about...
sorry, I was talking about performance.
Sure. But Sean Oakman is defensive end?
Yeah, defensive end out of Baylor.
He was the guy, if I'm not mistaken, you may not know this, but he was a Twitter trend.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, because when Baylor played in, I believe it was the Cotton Bowl a year ago, when the Cotton Bowl... or whatever, which it was a playoff bowl game that was at Texas at Cowboy Stadium.
Okay.
And during the kickoff, they got a shot of him, and he wears one of those, I call them silly kind of girly uniforms where his abs are exposed.
Oh.
And right, and he's got this face mask that is basically like a grating. And he's got a hulking figure. You know, well, I mean, because they took a picture of him, he's like, you know, cut and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And this picture came up on Twitter and it immediately went viral because people were taking the picture and they're making up all kinds of crazy names about him.
Memes?
Saying that he ate 9 cars and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely hilarious.
Oh, how funny. I didn't see that.
So I wondered if anybody had asked him about that, or what we were going to talk about his performance. So let's hear that first.
Yeah, the big talk about his performance was the 10'3" broad jump.
Wow,
it's really impressive, and that's where you're 2 feet planted and you just jump as far as you can with 2 feet to 2 feet. 10 feet 3 inches. That's impressive. So that was one of the biggest kind of highlights in terms of a performance perspective at the Combine.
10 feet 3 inches.
He's expected to go very high in the draft, so that probably just highlights that.
Probably first round, I would think. Who do you think might take a guy like that?
Oh, man. Gosh, where to start? Well, my beloved Seahawks have been seem to be cutting people right and left, so we might need to beef up our defensive ends.
It's a good choice for the Seahawks.
Yeah, they always need someone. San Francisco needs some defense right now. Cleveland could use some help.
Yeah.
Between you have a good defensive end that's very versatile, like Oakman, and then you have like Miles Jack out of UCLA, right? I mean, these guys are so versatile; they'll put them anywhere they can based on their athletic ability. So anywhere on say defense, although Miles Jack plays offense too. So
Yeah.
a lot of these guys could probably go to play for just about any team out there.
And we have a playlist of your videos.
That's right.
Because you've uploaded them all, right?
I think so, yeah. I think I did for 40.
If you go to zinni62.com, it's on my right, your left.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually on the right side of the blog.
Okay.
Because I point this way, it looks like left to you, right?
Yes.
Well, it's actually the right.
Okay.
So it's the right, folks.
Yeah.
Anyway, go over there to the right and just look for AJ Sports at NFL Combine.
Yep.
And you can see all of her interviews and questions.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to share your notes with us in a blog post?
I would love to.
Yeah,
yeah. Happy to.
Outstanding. Mm-hmm. Well, our next step is a mock draft, so we'll have that up later, right?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you, Zenny.
Okay, cool.